Welcome to episode 24 of Matthewlinity. This time we're up to verses 12 to 17 of Matthew chapter 4. I'll just read those out. When he heard that John had been handed over to the authorities, he withdrew into Galilee, and leaving Nazareth, he went and lived in Capernaum by the sea, in the region of Zebulun and Naphtali, so that what was spoken by the prophet Isaiah would be fulfilled, who said, "Land of Zebulun and land of Naphtali, toward the sea, on the other side of the Jordan, Galilee of the Gentiles. The people who sit in darkness have seen a great light, and the ones who sit in the land and shadow of death, a light has dawned on them." And from that time Jesus began to preach and to say, "Repent, because the kingdom of the heavens is near." I'd like to talk about the structure of this unit. We've got three parts. The first part begins with mentioning John the Baptist, and the third part ends by Jesus quoting John the Baptist. So this is the message that John the Baptist was famous for. According to Matthew, in chapter 3, John's message was, "Repent, because the kingdom of the heavens is near." And this is what Jesus says. Jesus says John's words, John's message that John was famous for saying. So it starts out talking about John and ends up talking about John. Now, what's in the middle is the significance of where Jesus begins, the place, the geographical place that Jesus begins. So we've got John, and then the places that Jesus begins, and then the message of John that Jesus is continuing. Now, why would Jesus begin his ministry up in the region of Zebulun and Naphtali, in some of the most northern tribes? Why wouldn't Jesus begin his ministry in Judea, or near the capital city, near Jerusalem, or in Jerusalem? Why would he begin up north? Well, Matthew provides an explanation. Here's the reason. Isaiah said that Zebulun and Naphtali would be the first. That they would be the ones that would be in the most darkness, and they'd have the great light dawn on them. And these are the regions that, well, when Isaiah was referring to these regions, these are the regions that fell first in this Assyrian, when the Assyrians came and exiled, took over. So when the Assyrian Empire came, these are the regions that would feel the brunt of this new empire first, because they're the northern, up in the northern area, where that's where the invasion is starting from. They're entering from the north, and I think it's the same with the Babylonians. I think they also come through the north as well. But anyway, Isaiah is referring to the Assyrian conquest of Zebulun and Naphtali. They were the first to fall to the Assyrian impact. So this is about the kingdom, just like the kingdom of the Syrian kingdom, the Assyrian Empire taking over. And now, well, Jesus is going to begin there. It's kind of fitting that Jesus would begin up north, especially since Isaiah said, well, that's also where things are going to happen. That's where the great light has the greatest opportunity to dawn. I suppose we have a saying in English, the darkest hour is just before the dawn. So Matthew is explaining this beginning point. It seems to be quite a fitting beginning point for Jesus' ministry, because Jesus is talking about an even greater empire, even greater kingdom. It's a very different kind of empire, a very different kind of kingdom than the Assyrians brought, or the Babylonians brought, or the Greeks brought, or that Rome has brought. It's a different kind, but it would make sense that Jesus begins there. That's often where new kingdoms start to take over. They start to take over up north. So we can see that this whole unit here, this whole passage, is very much focused on the kingdom coming. The kingdom is arriving. The kingdom has started to advance. The herald has arrived and saying, yes, this is happening. Basically, the message is John was onto something. John was correct in that there is a greater kingdom that's arriving. And Jesus is saying, yes, that is true. And so Jesus begins up north to proclaim, just like a herald would proclaim, that a kingdom is advancing. Everyone needs to be prepared for this new kingdom. So things will change. So when a new kingdom arrives, people are expected to change. They've got new overlords. The taxes go to a new empire. Customs may change as well. Maybe the priests will be replaced with, like, who knows? It depends on the empire what changes will happen. And so it's quite appropriate to say change is required because of this new kingdom. I mean, unless you're going to try and resist, some people, when a new kingdom takes over, they will try to resist and fight it off and lose their lives because of it. Other people just make the changes for the new empire. And so this isn't the same kind of empire as other empires. So at this point, people might hear this and think, what empire are you talking about? The empire of the heavens? The kingdom of the skies? What is this? The kingdom of the skies is taking over. The kingdom of the skies is arriving. The same kingdom that the stars abide by, the kingdom of the skies. What kingdom are you talking about? So this begins the question of, what does Jesus mean when Jesus quotes John the Baptist and talks about change is necessary because this great kingdom of the skies is arriving? We don't get like a quick answer to that question. So it slowly unravels over the next few chapters. And in fact, it probably takes the whole book to define that. But it would be interesting to track more specifically what the definition is, according to Matthew, that Jesus means by the kingdom of the heavens. So hopefully that's something that will become clearer as we travel further into Matthew. That's all for this episode. Thank you for listening.